Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Before My Morning Coffee. Lisa Freed here, and I so get a kick out of the fact that I am entirely and overly opinionated about so many things. I cannot tell you how nice it would be occasionally if I could just keep my opinions to myself for a minute. You see, lately I have felt so, I don't want to say triggered as being the word, but I definitely have a visceral reaction to those who think differently than myself, who can receive the same information that I do and find themselves coming to a different conclusion, And it doesn't matter. There is no specific topic that this is focused on or related to. It is literally just me having this response to anyone who doesn't think the same as I do these days, which, to put it kindly, makes me leaning heavily into the category of judgmental lady. There, I edited the words. And it doesn't matter what kind of topic, if it's about a grade that a teacher gave a student, this person's ability to perform this task, how the day went, whether or not a horse looks good or not, right? It's just, if it doesn't align fully with my train of thought, I just feel like, why do I even talk to you? What's wrong? Which is really not a good way to be, because it seems to be really much on these superficial topics that I'm responding in this manner versus on real important issues. I'm more able to hear what somebody has to say and then refrain from judgment, yet not these days. These days, I got an opinion for everything. And I notice that the message that I keep getting loud and clear is that God created us with 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. So maybe we should listen at least twice as much as we speak. And one of the things in the last week that I kept hearing is that God's always here. God's always with us. God's always speaking with us, right? And it's up to us to listen. And in order to listen, we can't be talking all the time. So the irony is not lost on me that here I am recording a podcast for me to talk about listening, But this week, as I move into this week, I know it's Saturday now, as I move into the following week and the rest of October, I'm working on what would feel really good. What is a way that I can bring in more listening, less speaking, some sharing, but less, just here's my opinion, blather, 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 and create a little more space for God to work through me versus me just doing it on my own. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm starting is, if you've read the book Hello Mornings by Kat somebody or another, you will know that she goes through her morning. She does 3 minutes she calls it her 3-minute morning. She reads a Bible verse. She looks at her calendar and she drinks a glass of water. And that's kind of her mini routine, and obviously you can expand the amount of time that you spend with God. You can expand how deeply you are digging into your calendar, and you can definitely do more for physical fitness than just have a glass of water. Yet, she is taking those as her very basic steps. So my mornings are going to be shaped with the message, right? So what am I reading about God? And I go through some devotionals and whatnot. Planning for me isn't really such a big thing. My calendars aren't super full until they are. So I have a lot of free time during the days. And then when it comes to movement of my body, because I've just been so resistant to this, and it's start and stop and start and stop, what I'm going to be working on is to enjoy a glass of water and do 5 minutes of stretching. And when it comes time for the planning part of my day, it's just to sit and listen for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Sit, listen, stretch, and then carry on about my day, which really, though, is to spend time in prayer, drink my water, stretch, and then sit for that 5 minutes. And after that, roll into recording this podcast, another episode of Before My Morning Coffee. So I appreciate you listening to this and listening to this podcast about listening. And I'd love to hear what your mornings look like and how they feel. And are there any tweaks that could happen that would just be like, this is so much better? Because that would be entirely fabulous. I wish you a day as beautiful as you, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another episode of Before My Morning Coffee. Bye for now.